Good afternoon. Welcome to the another episode of the Rock Solid Sports Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Pflegl, alongside Pastor Justin Metcalf, my co-host.
Glad to be here today.
Oh man, we got a lot to dive into.
Man,
right off the bat, you got to recap the NFL playoffs. What a crazy weekend! Final Four.
Oh my God, I'm still reeling from the Buffalo loss. For all you Buffalo fans, I feel compassion, and I was rooting for Buffalo to win, and it was an amazing game. I don't think I've ever seen a game where I've been on the edge of my couch for so long, and our whole family was basically watching it. It was just an amazing game, and so sorry for Buffalo and for the loss, but what an exciting what an exciting games. I think some of my favorite games, at this time, and the changes and things that are happening and stuff. So it's a great time. It's a great time to talk about these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just go right into it. I mean, that was Buffalo, Kansas City, all the way down right to the wire. You went back. The 25 points scored in the final 2 minutes. Well, Kansas City had the lead, and then Buffalo responded under the 2-minute warning, and then they got the touchdown. Then Kansas City came right back.
Remarkable.
It's like nobody was able to play defense this game. Both of the defenses were completely gassed.
They're backing off at the end of the game of the defense of Buffalo, and the way they gave Kansas City so much room to score, it was just, I could not understand it. They were played back too far, in my opinion. And I think they should have played aggressive and packaged it like they normally did when they were playing in the whole game. They were boxing Mahomes in and trying to keep him in a certain area, watching him all the time. I didn't understand that, but hats off to Kansas City Mahomes. He's a remarkable young man, and they have been through quite a season. Both teams, Kansas City and Buffalo, and the way that they handled change, the way they handled the difficulties, as far as a team. And for a while, Kansas City was going through a low point, and they were questioning a lot of things that were happening, but they had resilience. They came back. They handled the changes. They made the right changes. They got back, their team healthy. And then Buffalo, too, the way they came and just slowly began to just emerge as a powerhouse. And Josh Allen, my God, what a quarterback. What a quarterback this year.
Oh, man, boy. One of them's going to win MVP, regardless of whether or not they go to win the Super Bowl or the not. But you could make the same case for the guys in the NFC. I mean, Aaron, what a letdown. What a letdown by the Packers.
Oh.
That was just that was mostly on half of that could be on Aaron Rodgers. Most of that could be on the special teams, because that was just pathetic.
Yeah. It was so sad. It was so sad. And Tennessee too, which I want to mention, they had back Henry, their running back, and boy, what a difference he made for them in the game. But still, it didn't help. And Cincinnati, it's in it, which I'm absolutely amazed by that. Mm-hmm. Now, you talk about change. What a change in the Cincinnati team from the previous years, and the change in this team this year with that coach and that quarterback. Complete change with that team. And the way they handled everything, it's just remarkable. So I'm telling you, I'm going to say right now, I'm rooting for Cincinnati at Cincinnati, and I'm rooting for, I have to say it, I'm rooting for Mahomes in Kansas City. That's who I'm rooting for. But Kansas City is playing Cincinnati, so I'm going to go with Cincinnati. With that
man.
Game.
Oh, boy, Pittsburgh fans. Yep, you heard it. They better watch out. So those were good. Those were some good points. But honestly, the change. What's the wisdom to change and get the stuff that comes through that?
Right.
It's like you have to be able to do that and change and adapt or whatever throughout the game. Of course, with game plans that you have to adjust.
Right.
That happened out. I mean, the game against Rams and Tampa Bay for a while, I thought the Rams were going to just smoke the Patriots out and Bucks because Tom Brady's
right.
And I thought that game was over, but then you just have to keep thinking that Tom Brady came back from 28-3 down in the Super Bowl. He could do it again.
Yeah. I was thinking it the whole game. I was like, don't give him 3 minutes. Don't give him 2 minutes. Don't give him a minute.
And sure enough, Rams coughed it up. Gave him so many opportunities.
Yes.
Real estate.
It was incredible.
Game got tied, 20, and you would thought, okay, momentum's on Tampa Bay completely, but Tampa Bay's defense also couldn't adjust and wasn't able to change. And Cooper Kupp got open, Matt Stafford made some big plays through to him, and they kicked a game-winning field goal. That has been like the key. All these games have been decided by like a walk-off field goal or a touchdown.
Yes. And it's exciting games to watch, but like we were saying, the way I think it's the way that they handle the change and adjust at the right moments of the game, and have the strategy to win the game at the last moments. That's what I noticed with these games is they made the right decisions at the end of the game, and played true to their what their strengths were.
Yeah.
And didn't back off from that. And, that's why my hat's off to L.A. and Matt Stafford and the way they played against a championship quarterback all the way. Brady is remarkable to watch. Sometimes it's like you're watching him and you don't even believe it, but you believe it because it's Brady. And I felt like at the end of the game, he was going to definitely pull it out and win it. But hats off to L.A. to win that game. Remarkable. And, that's just an amazing, it was just an amazing, in my game, some of the best games I've seen in a long time.
I would agree with that. Who do you quickly, for championship Final Four predictions, you said you had Cincinnati. Who do you have in the San Fran or the Rams?
I'm picking Cincinnati and San Fran.
Oh man, we got another Super Bowl rematch. Well, if that's the case, then that would be the first time in like a very long time both of those teams played in the Super Bowl. I think.
Yeah.
My history, history remembers, Boomer Esiason and Joe Montana were the quarterbacks.
Wow.
I think so.
Right.
They did, man, a long, long time ago. Jerry Rice, and you got, you had a star stacked up talent.
My God, that's
Hall of Famers on those.
Yeah.
You probably might see future ones in the if that game ever. Here's what I think though. I think it's going to be Chiefs Rams. It's going to be a rematch of a regular season game that happened a few years back, where it was a very high scoring. There was absolutely no defense. 54-51 in favor of the Rams. That was how long. That was not too long ago. But it felt like a Super Bowl or a playoff game.
Wow.
And let's keep in mind, the Rams used to play in St. Louis, Missouri. So this is like, they now moved to Los Angeles, so it's like almost a battle of two teams that used to play in the same state.
Right, and the coach for LA, the offensive, his offensive game is absolutely incredible. I think he's a genius as far as offense is concerned. And, that's why, I'm rooting for Cincinnati because I always like to root for the underdog, and I feel like Cincinnati and San Fran are the underdogs concerning these two teams they're playing. But I think that if they get into an offensive battle as far as Cincinnati is concerned, with LA, oh my God, because LA's defense is no joke. Their defense is incredible. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah,
we're going to see what happens.
It's going to be a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're now from changing for like adjusting and doing during the season. We're going through like a major, not in a good way though, a major change happening in one of we're supposed to be approaching opening day in baseball soon, spring training.
Right.
But right now that we might not have that. Major League Baseball and the players has locked out its players, and right now they're still trying to like negotiate and get through and make some sort of compromise and solution to get the season back on.
Right.
But both sides are having a tough time figuring out what should this season include. What should the new bargaining agreement? Is that's collective bargaining agreement? What should it be? Should there be a DH? Should there be a universal DH for both the American and National League? They should be how much they've been trying to pace up the game, make it faster and stuff and easier more because fans, that was their thing. They're still trying to advocate for a faster, easier pace of play, but
yeah, the change in going on in baseball, and I think a lot of it is changes going on between the old style of baseball, and then the new where they're wanting to speed up everything, and that's what we see going on with a lot of things. Change happening in our society.
Yeah,
and going
then just to reiterate, things going on with all kinds of things. We want to inspire change. We want to try to good change, not the change that's gonna divide us or anything. Because that's what the Bible. Jesus was called to. That was his thing. He was here to change things, how things were, and change the world and how we were to live
for
our
the
lives.
good,
for the good, for the good.
Right, for the good.
We need to live that same a lot of these athletes and stuff, the complete teams and players. They do too. I give them a lot of credit, but that's okay. But what kind of change are you actually You have to be careful what change you're trying to try to bring about.
Right, and that's why I think what you're saying, Jonathan, is when we go through changes like that, they have to negotiate and they have to come to an agreement. And I'm hoping that they can do that. I'm hoping that they can make those adjustments, change, and help speed up baseball. I personally, my opinion is, I would like to see baseball speed up because I have a hard time watching an old baseball game. I enjoy it, but my God, if they speeded it up a little bit, I think it would greatly help the game. Myself, I think the viewership would go up. I think everything would go up. How to do that without losing the integrity of the game is, that's the way it is. I think with the changes that we make in our lives too. We have to make adjustments, but we don't want to lose the integrity of who we are. We don't want to lose, the authenticity of being real and being a person, and but at the same time, we want to change so we can adapt to be relevant and be, something that people enjoy and that brings forth good things. Brings forth, and I love baseball. I love watching the game. I love going to the games. But oh my God, it's there's time for some change in baseball.
Absolutely,
time for some change. Yeah.
Yes, I would
definitely. I think that's what's happening. COVID is causing it too. Everything's causing it.
Right. And a lot of these changes we can't do it. We don't have. It's out beyond our control.
Right.
It's God's in control here. It's that's we have to remember God's in control. He's got in anything, and it's not just in our lives and in the. It's He's doing things. So whatever He's moving behind the scenes and just and so it's change There's a term for change, and you say this all the time, repentance. It's a changing of the mind. It's your mind, and I feel it's also not once you change the mind, it affects the rest of your body.
Yes.
And whatever else you say or speak or do.
It's a change of thinking, the changing of our mind. Yep, and that's it's so important because then we can, he said it's like changing. He said. Because something good is coming. Change because something good is happening. Change because you're getting ready for something even better than you had before. That's what he was saying, and I think that's the same way as what we're seeing with, a lot of teams that have made the adjustments in sports and have changed for the things that are ahead. They've made the adjustments, And I mean, not to bring up something kind of old, but I even heard rumors that Brady might be retiring too, and he's contemplating some serious changes in his life. But one thing I notice about him is methodical about change, and if he's going to do something, he wants to make sure that certain elements are there. Certain parts of the team that are integral, a part of it, are there, and that they're very good. I think that's why he made that move to Tampa, and he made that move with his main receiver there, Gronk. And he had, I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to make some change here. But there's certain things that I'm going to look for and need And I think that's the same way when we're making changes. There's certain things that we want to remain. We're not throwing things away. We're taking the things that we've learned with us and we're moving forward with those things. We're not abandoning them, but we're taking them forward to move into the things that are ahead. Good things. Mm-hmm. Good things.
Yeah, again, that's a Bible verse. I move forward. Apostle Paul in the Philippians 4 says, I look past those things that are behind and move forward.
Yes.
And he also wrote in Romans, "Be not conformed, but transform or change." That transforms another word for change.
Yes.
It's like transform the way you think. It's like, and then you'll be able to test what God wants to do in your life. What is it saying? So it's like, it's always a thing of periods of adjustment with, especially in the Christian life, in the spiritual life.
Right.
You always have to okay, what am I doing? You have to stop and look yourself in the mirror. It's like, that's it. What am I doing?
Right.
And then obviously you can talk to God about it in your personal time, in your quiet time, and through His Word, because God's given you everything to do to change. It's like that's
it's there.
The big thing.
Yeah. It's there. That's excellent. Excellent. Yes.
And let's talking about now again change. And so we've seen a lot of change and stuff going on in the even in here in the 518, the local stuff, high school and college stuff. Lots and lots of stuff changing. Including the Times Union, former Times Union Center, that was the home for where Siena men's basketball, and I think for just a short while, I think the women played there, but mostly the Siena men, that was their home. But now they changed it to something different called the MVP Arena.
I know.
And that big reason is, I think that was the thing they couldn't get with Times Union, the Albany Times Union, the newspaper. So they ended up getting a different sponsor and a different. So it's the MVP, like healthcare, but Health VP Arena. So it's going to be interesting to see how this. Because it's going to take us a while to get you trying to say it. So you're going to say Pepsi Arena or Times Union. But I think that's actually might be a good thing, because who knows, maybe because that's a thing that's happening, and see with the player and the teams, like the coaches, Coach Com Massiarello, and for U Albany, the Great Danes, the Dwayne Killings, because you've seen for years it's okay, we have Fran McCaffrey, and then for a long time Will Brown for U Albany, and now we've got two younger, fresher coaches.
Yeah.
Who can be it's trying to inspire men and for the women too. I'm not women and for all these programs here in the local area.
Yeah.
It's they're just really trying to enforce okay, this is what to hit. They have to also be sure to hit to university, what the standards, the goals, and whatever, all that, the code of conduct. But they also want to make sure they do bring a winning culture and make these young men and women really great leaders.
Right. So they're having integrity. They're not just trying to win a bunch of games, but they're also trying to grow and mature and help the young people to adapt and become all that God wants them to be. And that's what I love the coach about Alabama,
Nick Saban.
He's really interested in the development of the player, the full development, not just that he's a great athlete, but he can play, throw a football or run, but that he's a good man of character and integrity. And, that's what I appreciate. I saw an interview with the Siena coach, the men's coach, and I noticed that about him, was that he was interested in the development of these young men, and not just winning games, because change, we know, comes from the inside out. It comes from, and that's how true change. If we try to change from the outside in, it's very difficult. But if we can embrace change from the inside, then we can see it happen on the outside. And it changes the culture, it changes the way the teams function, they operate, and the whole system, the whole way they play, everything. And it becomes, as they continue and improve, they get better and better and better, because it's not just something they're doing on the outside, it's something that they believe on the inside, they're acting on it, and it's changing the whole culture, the whole system. And I think that's what's happening with the local sports. Very excited about it. Very excited.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that it's very exciting, and looking forward to what's happening there and around the NFL, and hopefully baseball gets going, and with a much better look to baseball.
Right.
But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully this has been great. Hopefully you can tune in and and see what happens. Will we get a change in champions in the NFL? What'll happen? Well, just stay tuned, find out, and thanks again for tuning in. And make sure to share this with your friends. Like, comment, share, and remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
God bless.